Hello and welcome to Wildcat Chat. My name is Alex Dingman. On today's show, we will be graced with the presence of Dan Harris along with Latasha Roberts for track, and we'll end it with Jennifer Rigdon of the softball team. But up first, it's going to be Mike Cation with the athletic director, Dan Harris.
Thanks, Alex. Well, I'm sitting here with Dan Harris, the athletic director here at Baker University. Dan, thanks a lot for joining us today.
No problem. Enjoy it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Dan's entering his 13th year, or he's in his 13th year as athletic director, doing a great job. And Dan, talk to me a little bit about the fall sports and the winter sports. They just got done. Basketball just got done. And talk to me about football, basketball, volleyball, soccer, that kind of thing. What are your overall thoughts about how they did?
Sure. The fall seasons obviously were really exciting because of new facilities. We got a chance to play football and soccer on a brand new field turf, artificial surface field. I think it's the best installation in the Midwest. I think we currently have probably one of the best facilities in our conference right now. So having a chance to play on that facility was an exciting thing. Football wasn't as successful as I would have liked it for it to be, but we have some great recruits that were young this year. Obviously, quarterback Mac Brown is going to make a big difference as he matures, and some guys that transferred in at semester that I think are really going to help us. Men and women's soccer had good seasons going between North Park and the field as well. We had a good fan base, followed all of our activities. Volleyball, very successful, got in the regional tournament this year under Kathy Allen. And then cross country was successful. And we have probably some strong athletes in track that this spring will be one of the best springs we've ever had. So we're looking forward to that season too. Yeah,
talk to me a little bit about the football program. They've had a successful career, I think, as far as the football program goes, maybe in the 90s. And do you think it's going to get back to that, where it's one of the elite programs in the conference and maybe even in the nation?
Well, that's my dream, Mike. As I was part of that football tradition. I came here in 1983 and coached offensive line and was the offensive coordinator for Charlie Richard. And I just thought it was natural that we won 8, 9, 10 games every year, because we did for the next 13 years. We still hold a national record for being ranked in the national polls 128 weeks in a row. That was an exciting time for me. Then in the 90s we had a lot of success in postseason play, bowl games. We played in the Wheat Bowl twice. We've played in the Southwest Bowl down in Winfield, Kansas. So our traditions run really long, and they're an exciting part, and our alumni have been very involved in that as well. As we changed into a new era with the passing of Charlie Richard, our football program hasn't been where I would like for it to be, but I think we're on the right track. I think it's a lot more challenging to recruit now. We've got 28 schools to recruit against just in the state of Kansas because of all the junior colleges. We do recruit a lot of out-of-state athletes, but I think football is on the right track. I'm excited about what our potential will be for next year, and I do want to get back to that old tradition.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see that, I think, in the next few years. Basketball season's just got over, and I think you've got two great coaches there, Susan Decker and Rick Weaver. Rick Weaver, he's got over 300 wins, and I think that's pretty impressive. He's the winningest coach here at Baker. How do you feel about that?
Well, Rick's done a good job. You measure success in a lot of ways. Rick Weaver has some of the most academic All-American scholar athletes that we have in the nation. His athletes has a very high graduation rate. His alumni players are very loyal to his program. In fact, they were major contributors to renovations in the locker room with carpets, new lockers, and a television. So Rick's done a great job in that sense. It's a tough conference to compete against. We have had teams in our conference win the Division II National Championship. Mid-American Nazarene could win it this year. William Jewell has won it before. Evangel University has won it before. So it's a very, very competitive basketball conference. I think Rick has got the potential to find the athletes we need to be successful. I think the key component we need is to help him in the area of scholarship. We're trying to do that and afford better resources to be able to bring in the top athletes. Susan Decker had 4 20-game seasons in a row. This was a real down year for her. She had a very young group. I think she's looking at making these young players better and bringing in some more impact players for next year. So football and basketball really drive your media attention. So we put a lot of effort into making sure that those programs are successful.
Well, you mentioned the media. Let's talk about that. How important is television and radio and that kind of thing? How important is that in athletics?
It's critical. It's the way you market yourself. We're in a small market area. We're in a small town. It's a suburb. We've got KU right up the road. It's a challenge to compete with the media attention that they're going to get. Their basketball program, even under their football program that finally played in a bowl game after many years, it's hard to get the attention from the media because of that location and where we're at right now. But I do think that we had in the past 2 times we played on TV in football. We've had some football or TV coverage for basketball. I think those kinds of things help market your program to the metropolitan areas so students really know what is Baker all about, where is Baker, what can I look forward to if I go to a place like Baker University.
Yeah. Now you mentioned, let's switch gears a little bit. You mentioned the new facilities that we have. Baseball and softball fields are great. Football field as well. I think that's a good step in the right direction. What else can we expect? Are there any new facilities on the way or any new sports to add to the Baker Athletics? What can we expect in the near future?
When Dr. Pat Long came on as president of this university, and she had a meeting with me, and she said, Dan, what are the components of athletics that will allow you to be successful? I said, there's 3 points that I've got to have. 1, I need to have good coaches. I think I have that in almost all of our programs. 2, you've got to have facilities. After the renovation with baseball, softball, track, and the football field, I think we have that now. The third component is scholarship. And so that's the area we've got to work toward. We're going to do a lot of fundraising and try to get a lot of alumni support to get the funds we need to bring in the top level athletes.
Talk to me about, you mentioned that you have a lot of good coaches here, and I think you're exactly right. And I think Alan Koch, he's a soccer coach. He's got a lot of professional soccer experience. And then you have Susan Decker. She was an All-American when she played. So I think you do have there's a lot of good coaches here at Baker. Talk to me what you look for when you hire a coach.
Well, there's got to be a good fit for Baker University. I think, first of all, a good example, we have a track opening for next year, and we've had 35 people apply for the position. And when you go through those applicants, you've got to find, through their paperwork and through your resource phone calls, who is going to fit with Baker University. And we look for people who have experience at recruiting. I look for people who are performers. A good example, Reagan Dodd, great tennis player at Northwest Missouri State. Rick Weaver, an All-American at Morningside College when he played basketball. You mentioned Susan Decker. Alan Koch, a professional. Nate Hauser, how many years did he play professional with the Kansas City Comets? Phil Hannon played the Chicago Cubs organization for 8 years. Those kinds of experiences bring to the table something I can market in a head coach. But they also have to have that personality so they can communicate with parents and athletes to convince them that this is the place to be, Baker University.
Well, one more question. Talk to me about the spring sports. How do you think the spring teams are going to do, and what can we look forward to in this spring?
Obviously, baseball and softball are trying to start their seasons now. Mother Nature has not cooperated very well. We've had some games already canceled or postponed. I think it's hard to tell where those sports are going to be until they can get out and actually compare themselves at a competition level. A lot of new athletes in both programs. Baseball just went 2-2 down in Oklahoma. Both teams they played had already got 13 and 14 games under their belt. Those are our very first games. To go 2-2, that's exciting to me. I think it says we have some ability there. Track this year, I think, will be one of the best track teams we've ever had. We have speed, we have relays, we have field event people. Aaron Hannon, who's Coach Hannon's son, ranked 10th in the nation in the decathlon. We have Chelsea Ornburn, who's vaulting over 11 feet. Going to the indoor nationals this weekend at Graceland. So we have a lot of potential talent in that particular program. Tennis and golf, 2 outstanding programs. The tradition in tennis is probably just as long and just as outstanding as football is. You can see the plaques on the wall in Collins and see all the years that we won championships in those sports. So I think this is going to be an exciting year for the spring sports.
Okay, well, I hope you're right. Well, Dan, we appreciate you coming on the
bet.
show today.
Enjoyed
Thanks
it
a
a lot.
lot. Stan Harris, Athletic Director here at Baker University. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.